Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap, and today we are here with a new chapter, right? For the analysis. Wait, let me open it first. Yeah, so here it is. So that is the ARD static of what we'll do today. As many of you requested to first have the analysis of NABARD Grade A 2021 before we move ahead with the different analysis that we need to done of how many questions have been asked from which chapters, right? So what we will do today, because we this particular video of previous year is just for you to have an idea that what kind of questions are asked in the examination, right? So we'll just go through the question and answer. This is not that particular teaching session in which I'll explain everything to you, what are the different options mean and what the question means and how it is related to that. I hope you all are fine with it, and this is how we go. Okay, so we'll start with phase 1 because of course of 2021 till now phase 1 is only phase 1 has been done, right? So we'll do with phase 1. So the first question, it says, what is the name of male goat that is capable of breeding? This was the first question of ARD static that came in NABARD Grade A 2021. The correct answer to this is option number C, that is buck. Buck is the name of the male goat that is capable of breeding. Next is question number 2, which asks urea has highest content of dash with dash percent. So of course these were some simple question. Hi Aditi, how are you? And the answer is nitrogen with 46%, right? That is the content of urea that is present. Sorry, content of nitrogen that is present in urea. Next comes question number 3, which says color of which of the following soil is red due to the diffusion of iron rather than pressure of environment. Again a question from soil. We've been observing from 2018 onwards that questions from the soil topic, be it texture, be it about soil order, be it about anything that is related to soil. In fact, one time a generic question also came. That was what? That was uh, the classification, on what basis do classification occurs in India, right? And the answer was soil taxonomy. So the correct answer here, it is option number A, that is red soil. All right. Yeah, so Priya also said red soil, and Nilesh. Hi Nilesh, how are you? Right. Next is question number 4. It says quincunx system of planting is followed in which of the following crops? Okay, so it is a part, it is a type of planting. There are different types of planting in rectangular, basically. Plants, they are grown on the edges in a rectangular area, right? And then we have square type of in quincunx there is one more tree that is in between, you can say that is in the crossing of the diagonal, right? So this particular type, it is followed. Supriya says B. The correct answer to this is option number 3. Yes, that is the fruit trees. This particular system, it is followed in there. Next is, what is the name of the indigenous major carp, which is also known to be the fastest growing among fin fishes? Indigenous means that belongs to here, to the native place, to India. So you have to name the major carp, which is also known to be fastest growing. So its growth, it is fastest. Okay. The correct answer, comment down fast, right? Don't be so slow so that I can answer that. The correct answer, Nilesh says 5A, Supriya says 5D. Let's see who wins. The correct answer is nobody wins. The correct answer is option number B, that is Katla. Okay. Next is, identify the instrument used for measuring the humidity or amount of water vapor that is present in the air. So here a question has been asked from the instrument, right? And you have to tell me that for measuring, and this particular instrument, it is used for what? It is used for measuring the humidity or amount of water vapor that is present in the air. The correct answer to this is option number D, that is hygrometer. This is the instrument which Supriya and Nilesh both correctly said, that is hygrometer. Next comes question number 7, which says which of the following is a metal iron storage structure. So this question, this was the first time a question like such has been asked. This belongs to your category seed and seed sowing, because ultimately everything, whatever seeds, ultimately they are stored in bin, as in case of this one, right? The correct answer to this particular question, it is option number B, that is PAU, bin, as said by Nilesh also. Next is question number 8. This year, a lot of questions, a lot of portion of static was there in the NABARD Grade A Agriculture ARD section, not just agriculture but agriculture and rural development sections. So it will give us more insight. Next question number 8, it says Haryana belongs to which of the following agro-climatic zone. So this question is from agrometeorology, right, wherein different classification has been done of the different agro-climatic zones, and the correct answer you would have to tell. The correct answer to this particular question, it is option number C, that is Trans-Ganga Plain region. While our revision series also before the examination, we did a lot of these questions that were belong to agroclimatic zone, right? Nilesh said C for this answer, which is correct, and Supriya also says C's, and Vinod also gave the correct answer. Question number 9 says which of the following is the method of irrigation where water is applied near the root zone. So you have to tell this particular question. This we did a lot during our revision series. In fact, we are very glad that most of the thing they were from the revision series only. I hope those who've been watching regularly, they know. The correct answer to this particular is option number B, that is the drip irrigation, which Supriya also said. She's the first one to answer this particular question. We move ahead to question number 10, which says which of the following is organic in nature. This is quite a simple question, I guess. This was a easier one where you can easily guess that which of the following is organic or the natural, you can say, in nature. The correct answer to this particular question is option number B, that is cow dung, right? Hi Jeremy, I hope I'll try to come up with a revision series for ARD static for phase 2 only. That would depend on how much people they are interested in the marathon series. I cannot just say just for 5 to 10 people. There must be a large number that should agree on that, right? Next comes question number 11, which says what is the minimum fraction of area to be covered under the Forestry cover under National Forestry Act. Now this particular question, it is from Forestry. From 2020 onwards, we are looking at that on 2020 also questions from Forestry were there, and in 2021 also. Before that, there were no questions from it. So there are two aspects. First is that if some topics they have come every year, and if there are some topics they have been covering from the last year, we should take them into consideration, because maybe from the last year the NABARD has been shifted to this particular topic, and there are many chances that it can be asked again and again. So not only for phase 2 but for phase 1 also, for the next year examination, you should have this insight. We'll have one more, I'll have detailed analysis chapter wise at the end of the session, where we'll look at which topics are most important and which are not. All right. The correct answer to this, as most of the people say, it is 1/3. Next is what is the name of the proportion of soil occupied by air and water. So in soil there are some areas in which the soil or the air or water, they can occupy some space. So what is this particular thing is known as, that you would have to tell me. The correct answer to this is option number D, that is the pores, basically porosity, or this is the similar, these are the more or less the same question, the same you can say the way the questions have been asked. The words may differ in examination, but the concept were same, because NABARD, it takes online examination, right? So to have word to word statement, it is quite difficult for to get. That is why these are more or less similar. Why am I asking? But because during the analysis also, I guess there was some confusion in this. But yes, this question was asked, or more or less this similar question has been asked. Okay. Next is question number 13, which says study of fruits is called, you have to tell me, this is the basic question from the introduction to agriculture. You have to tell me that it is known as what? The correct answer to this is option number B, that is pomology. It is the study of fruits that you should know. And olericulture is for vegetables. Next comes, which of the following is a potamodromous fish? That you have to tell. The correct answer to this is option number A, flathead catfish. I'll repeat again that this is just for your basic understanding that what kind of questions are asked by NABARD. We'll just go for question and answer. This is not the teaching session where I'll explain you everything. We'll just look at 2021 questions which have been which I've made due to the request of many of the students. They wanted for 2021 as well, and then we'll move ahead with the analysis of all the question. That is our motive, primary motive of this particular section today. Next question, it asks, what is the size of operational holding of small farmers as per the agri census? Well, this belongs to so this question, it came this is more or less of current affairs, but yes, we can answer that. And last time I guess they were for marginal farmers, and then this time it was for small farmers. So more or less they have been asking for this only. Supriya, first one to say B, then Nilesh came with B, and then Subha Jyoti came with 1 to 2 hectare. And yes, the answer is option number B only, that is 1 to 2 hectare. Question number 16, it asks, what is the education test conducted by the farmers under the direct supervision of extension worker to prove advantage recommended method? So this was the first time a question from extension have been asked in the NABARD examination since 2018. So it could be quite surprising for some of you to look at this question in the examination, but yes, this is how it is. Nilesh, first one to say that option 1 is the correct answer. Then Debanjan also says 1. So let's look at it. What is the correct answer? But the correct answer is option number B. That is the result demonstration that it is known as. All right. Next is question number 17, which says, what is the traditional method of processing fish by salting, dry, smoking, pickling called? See, this time not only the normal questions from the fisheries, that is the mainstream question about the fishes or about any breed has been asked, but about the in general question, as if you should have proper knowledge of the topic fisheries, have also been come in the examination. The correct answer to this is Supriya says A, and that is curing. So curing is known as the method, okay, in which the salting, drying, smoking, pickling, everything is done, that is related to the fish. Next comes question number 18. It asks, what is the annual crop that generates larger residual quantum in Indian agriculture? This is also kind of current affairs question, right? Because it can change from time to time. The correct answer here is cereal crops, because cereal crops, they create a lot of residue, because maximum cereal production in India, cereal is the crop of which maximum production it occurs, because cereal does not involve only one crop, it involves more of the Poaceae family crops, right? Next comes question 19, which says, what is the agroforestry system where perennial hedges crops? One more question from forestry was asked this year. This is the new trend, we can say, or the new favorite topics that NABARD is now coming with. Although if been asked 1 or 2 times, you cannot say NABARD favorite topic. But yes, these are the topics that are now being notified by the NABARD. So we must look at them while preparing for the examination, right? The correct answer to this is alley cropping. Okay. So we'll move ahead. Jashan, is the information that authentic or you're just guessing at it? Next is question number 20, which says growing of two more crops simultaneously on the same field is known as. So when two or more crops, they are grown simultaneously on the same field, it is known as what? So it is known as option number A, that is intercropping. Okay. Question number 11, it says wheel hoe is widely accepted tool for. So there are various tools that are used for various agronomic practices, and you have to tell that which of the following it is for wheel hoe. Right. So the correct answer to this is option number B, that is weeding. I know this particular session, it is quite going quite fast, not with much explanation, because here the motive was about the analysis only. This I have provided because most of the students, they requested for having the questions from 2021. So I thought of adding this as well. So we'll just go with the question and answer which were going for 2018 only, also 19 also, right? Why am I not comparing everything like I was doing in previous session? Because we have a detailed tabular analysis by the end of this slide. So let's just go with it. Next comes covering of soil around the plant by straw, hay, leaves to conserve moisture is known as what? So it is known as mulching. Very good. Right. So many people, they have answered. Arun was the first one to answer, and then came Nilesh, and then Divanjan, then Supriya, then Subhajyoti, right. Next come question number 23, which says what is the area covered under the medium irrigation project? Similar question was asked in one of the previous year question that we have already done, right? But that was for, I guess, major or minor. You tell me. And then the correct answer to this is, it is option number B. Okay, so the correct answer is 10,000, and then we have what? Then we have 2,000. All right. Next is question number 24, which says what are the hens specially reared for eggs called? Okay, so one question from poultry as well. We've been looking at that. They ask question every year for poultry, for animal husbandry, and animal husbandry does not only include the cattle, it includes sheep, goats as well. And for this first question of this session today, we had that of goat only, right? So that is also part of animal husbandry. Animal husbandry does not only mean the cows and buffaloes, that you need to understand. So the correct answer to this is, who's the first one to say? Okay, Arun says B, and then Jashan B, Supriya A, Divanjan A, Neelu A, Nilesh A. The correct answer is option number A, that is layers, right? Broilers, who are saying broilers are for the meat purpose. Okay, so do not get confused. Question number 15, it says, 25. It says in order to regulate the temperature and to get rid of insects, the process of buffaloes rolling in water. So see, one more question from animal husbandry, but that's also a very generic kind of a question, right? Because we usually expect that the question would be of maybe breeds of different cattle, right? But this time it was more of a knowledge based question of the proper studying of buffaloes, right? The correct answer to this is Devanjan says B, Nilesh B, Subhajyoti also says B, and yes, the correct answer is B, that is valuing only. So when the buffaloes, they cover themselves in mud and water, they roll themselves in it, and for two purposes. First of all, to regulate its temperature, because with mud and water, its body gets covered and the heat it does not reach to them. And for to do what? To get rid of insects. Okay, to get away from the insects, this wallowing, the process of rolling in water and mud, it is known as what? It is known as wallowing. Now that was about the questions that came in 2021. I hope you people who wanted it are happy with it. But now let's come to the analysis of which chapters are important and which are not. See, every question in our course we have divided into different chapters that you all know. Okay. So what we have done, we have total 18 chapters in our course. What I have done, according to how many questions have been asked in how many year, and according to the total number of questions that have been asked from 2018 onwards, I have included them priority wise. All right. After the doing the analysis, you would decide how you want to study, which topics you feel like important. I'll give you my perspective to this, but at the end it's your preparation, so you should be the creator of or you should be the designer of how your preparation should go. We'll start with, see here, two from if we go for 2018 onwards, so this include both phase 1 and phase 2 till 2020. It includes phase 1, phase 2, then we'll come to 2021. Okay, so I've already told you, and we both have analyzed while these 3-4 days, right, we analyzed it together, that there were a lot of questions from soil and water conservation. Okay, so many people, now two people have they said that NABARD mains examination has been declared 16 and 17 November. All right, so I guess that's the good news that most people were waiting for NABARD B, although I personally do not claim that whatever I'm saying, because I haven't seen the notification yet. Maybe it has just released, we don't know, but 2 to 3 people they are saying about it. So let's focus on this now more, right? So soil and water conservation, why have I kept in first and why have I kept animal husbandry in second? We'll look at it. See, in 2019 9 questions were asked, both phases, then 3, then 7, and then 5 questions were asked just in phase 1 that you should know, that you should keep in mind. So 5 questions, just 5 questions were from soil and water. It includes everything. It includes the type of soil, the soil texture, soil order, everything that comes, it will come under soil and water conservation in our course that we have done, right? So 5 questions were just from phase 1. So we can expect a good at least 2 to 3 minimum questions, like we can expect, right? Because this time we have ESI ARD together and then objective portion different. But if you want to prepare for the static part, I would suggest to go with the priority wise only, rather than going for any other topics, right? So here 5 have been asked, that is why I've kept that in priority, and then in second number I have kept animal husbandry because 3 were asked this time. But both are important, because you can look at overall, if we go for 24 questions have been asked every time, right? Next comes the that is third one, that is the rural development. From rural development you can see at different questions why you should keep see, if we go for total number wise, 14 questions have been asked, but I would suggest before going for rural development you should go for fisheries. Why? Because do not only just go for the total number of questions, but also go for how many have been asked in this phase 1 only, because we have observed that things that have been asked in phase 1, similar topics have been asked in phase 2. I am not saying to ignore rural development, I am just saying to revise fisheries before the rural development. Why? Because 3 questions have been, however 7 have been asked in total if you go for 2018 to 21, but if you go for 2021 only 3 questions have been asked just from fisheries. So in your priority list, fisheries, it should be above the rural development. But in general, I'm just telling you with the overall view that we have overall analysis that which topics they are frequent in NABARD examination when you are going for NABARD Grade A 2022 or maybe after that. See, first of all, your strategy would depend on which examination, which year examination you are preparing for, right? If you are going for this phase 2, then go for whatever topics have been asked in phase 1 in priority, and then move ahead with the other topics. If you are preparing for any NABARD examination that is after 2021, you should go for which topics they ask the most, right? Your strategy should depend on that. Jashan, these are just for the static portion that we are studying. These does not include the current affair portion. Now this is about the rural development, that 14 question. For plantation we have seen that they used to ask before, but this in phase 1 haven't asked them yet, right? So maybe if you want to link the study of fruits that we have just done, then one question would be there, but according to what syllabus that we what course the chapters we provide in our course, it belongs to the introduction of agriculture only. So if you want to link it to plant and horticulture, they have asked it this year also, but according to our course, it belongs to the introduction to agriculture. All right. So this was for the plantation and horticulture. Next comes water resource and irrigation management. It involves everything, especially that command area that we have done previously, or per se we have just done about the minor irrigation project, major irrigation project. Everything includes that, right? So this time one question have been asked. In overall 9 questions have been asked from the irrigation and water sources only. Next comes agronomy and field crops. That includes 8 question in total, right? Then comes fisheries. Now see, some chapters are overlapping, we cannot really say. For example, wheel hoe that we studied for weeding, that can come under 2020 agronomy and field crops also, right? Because that is an agronomic practice field, that is weeding, right? But then we can also include that in agriculture engineering, because wheel hoe, it is kind of a tool that is used for that, so we can include that in agriculture engineering also. So here I have included that in agriculture engineering. If you think that no, because that was related to weeding or any thing, any, or you can say any agronomic practice should come under this, you can include that accordingly. Okay, so I'll also explaining you on what basis I have included which questions where. Now it's up to you that what you feel like is important and what is not, because ultimately it's your choice how you want to prepare. I can just give you an advice, right? And it's up to you if you want to take it or not. Next comes seed technology. In seed technology, one question was asked in 18, then 4, then none in asked in 2020, but this year 2021 2 questions have been asked. So so you can assume that maybe or you can put this in your priority that yes, you can do if you want to do. Next comes agrometeorology. This time overall 6 questions have been asked till since 2018, and this time 2 questions were from agrometeorology only, right? One was of hygrometer, that I remember. Second, if you remember, comment down below. Next is the cropping pattern and system. See, now 2 things that you need to observe. For example, we'll start from here. See, agronomy and field crops, they are 8 in number. This total is 8 in number, and that is why this is in the 6th list, and this cropping pattern and system, this is in the 10th list, because of the total number of questions that were there. But if you look at this particular agronomy and field crop, there were 2 years they haven't asked anything, right? Random years they have asked. Or per se, if you go for plantation and horticulture, they have asked previously, but this year they haven't asked, right? Now, looking at cropping pattern and cropping system, although the total number is lesser in number, this topic is not has not been asked every year as irrespective of the other that we have seen. In 2018 it was not asked, in 2019 it was not asked, but in from 2020 we are looking at that at least one question is from cropping pattern and cropping system. So is this should be on priority, or those questions should be in priority of whom the total number is more but they haven't been asked since 2020? Now this you need to understand, this tabular form which you will get the PDF from our Telegram channel, and the link is given in the description box, that you all know. If you haven't seen our previous year analysis of 18, 19, 20 that we have already done, the links are also in the description box below. Here you need to understand which topics you should prioritize, right? Here this topic has been asked from 2020 and then been asked in 2021 as well. So whose chances are more there to come, right? So look at it. Then we have introduction to agriculture. This introduction to agriculture, it involves generic things, study of what, which institute is where, and things like that. So not much questions have been asked. Total 5 have been asked from each year. See, I am not saying that this chapter is not important. A question may come, we don't know. But when you want to prioritize, I just want the questions of frequency is more in the examination, the topics whose frequency is more, I just want you to do that before the rest. I would suggest to go through all the 18 chapters only, right? But then which chapter to prefer or which chapter to prioritize, that depends on how many questions have been asked from the examination, right? Next comes forestry, 2, then 4 questions in total. Then from farm and agri engineering, it is one in 2020, and then 2021 we had two. Overall we have three questions, right? So in farming engineering you are looking at, since 2019 they didn't ask, in 2020 they asked one question, and then in 2020 just in phase 2 they have asked two questions, right? So this include that V whole question also. So you can look accordingly if you want to add this in engineering or in the previous one, right, on agronomy. But two questions have been asked, so there is a jump in this. So this now, if you look at, see, even if you look at this topic, cropping pattern and cropping system, farm and agri engineering, and also one that I wanted to mention here, for example, agriculture extension, right? This is the first time they have asked the question. If you look at, these are much of the modern questions, or for example forestry, which haven't been asked before but now they're asking. These are kind of the modern topics that are quite in news in recent time, right? Agriculture engineering, modernization, about forestry, this climate change, everything is in news, right? And then apart from that, what we can expect, agriculture extension, because extension is the medium from which whatever scientists they are developing, it is reaching the audience, the farmers, right? So everything that is modernized, the NABARD is asking that in examination from 2020 onwards. Look at this. Okay, analyze things. So farm engineering 2, 3 in total. Then farming system, one question since 2019 have been asked every year. Then comes important agronomic practices and beneficial crops. Since then, only once have been asked in 2020. Do study it, but do not keep it in your priority. All right. Next comes agriculture economics. Do study, but do not keep it in your priority list. That I would suggest, but at the end, it's your decision how you want to do things, because this time descriptive is also there. That is why I'm not saying to leave any chapter, because descriptive writing is there. You do not know from what kind of question can come for descriptive. So you should have a basic knowledge of everything, so that you can at least do the static portion, even if for 1% you do not know the current affairs of that, right? Then comes the ecology and climate change, which says only 2020. Only one question have come. That is in total, right? So this was the analysis that we all did together since last 4 days. I hope this is fruitful for you. For people are saying that NABARD it is on 16 phase 2, 16 and 17. If the news is correct, this is the right time to study. Prioritize what you want to do first, and then move ahead with the least important topics that are according to analysis. But do not skip any chapter, because everything is important, because this time descriptive has been added in the syllabus. All the very best for your examination. I will try that I'll come up with the static portion, any revision series that would help you with the topics that I have told you, that from which many questions have been asked, right? So maybe I'll go for top 5 or top 10, whatever I'll try to do. I'll try to cover that. Until then, keep study hard. All the very best for your examination. Even if you're going for the next year of NABARD Grade A, everything is important. This will help you in any examination that you're preparing for, because this is the analysis. This was the analysis from 2018, and all the